Now, from WNYT, this is Forum 13.
Good morning, I'm Phil Bayley. Thanks very much for joining us on Forum 13. We're going to take a look at a sport that involves chainsaws and hatchets and spurs. Then we're going to take a look at one of the biggest stories ever in Albany, and it happened 100 years ago. But first, you think you're an outdoorsman? You ought to compare your skills to the pros. We have one of the pros with us. We're joined by Nathan Bucket Waterfield, and who is a professional timber sportsman, by the way, and Joseph Lydon, advisor to the woodsman team at SUNY Cobleskill. I said that right?
Yep.
And you're the head coach, Nathan, are you not, of the woodsman team?
I'd be assistant coach. Joe's the coach as well.
Gotcha.
But I bring in professional experience that Joe doesn't have.
All right, how did you get the name Bucket?
It's just like a family name, really. My last name's Waterfield, and I was a three-sport athlete in high school, and it just went from Waterfield to Water Bucket, and then Bucket, and my brother as well. So
this is an unusual sport to a lot of people. All right, I love watching these competitions, though, on TV, and we were talking about they used to be on ESPN.
Yeah, and still are.
Okay, so what events are we talking about when we talk about timber sports?
The STIHL Timbersports events are 6 events. There's 3 chopping events: the underhand chop, which I'll be demonstrating today; the standing block chop, which is a vertical version, similar. It simulates felling a tree. And the springboard chop, which is a 9-foot pole in the ground with one of these blocks on top. And you put a notch in the pole, set a springboard, do the same, and you cut from 9 feet in the air a block in half. It simulates an old technique that loggers used to use when trees grew really big at the bottom and had root flare, and the wood was very hard to cut. So they would kind of go 9 feet off the ground where the wood was easier to cut. Their saws were long enough to cut through.
Interesting. Interesting. When you say STIHL Timbersports, talking about the sponsor, right? STIHL, I mean,
yes.
chainsaws and that sort of thing, STIHL?
Yep, STIHL is a huge promoter of our sport. They put on the biggest event in the United States. They've invested a lot of money into the sport itself to try and develop United States athletes, particularly in the collegiate ranks. So they're a big promoter, but there's a lot of other promoters around too, and I do 20-some events every year in the U.S. and Canada.
And Joe, that's interesting. You know, I only found out about a week ago that there is competitive fishing in college. And so now I find, and this was a surprise to me, that there are timber sports or woodsman sports in college. But SUNY Cobleskill has a team.
Yes, sir. Yep. We've been in existence for about 10 years, and with the help of Nathan Waterfield, we've really developed into a really good team, and we're pretty competitive now.
So, I mean, do student athletes come to SUNY Cobleskill because you have a woodsman team? I mean, the way, you know, basketball players aspire to go to Syracuse to play basketball?
Not exactly. They find out about it when they come to the school, and they gain interest, they hear about it, and then they come and try it out, and they usually have a lot of fun.
So we shouldn't be hearing about any recruiting scandals?
Nope, no recruitment.
Sometimes we do get transfer students. We've had kids transfer from other collegiate teams. They've done like a 2-year program at another school and transferred to SUNY Cobleskill to finish their education and also compete on the team.
What are some of the other schools who compete in timber sports?
We've got Paul Smith College, SUNY ESF, Alfred State, Finger Lakes Community College, University of Connecticut, New Hampshire,
University of Maine, Penn State Mont Alto, West Virginia. There's, I believe, 60 universities now competing all across the nation.
Really interesting. Now, aside from being coach, though, as we've referred to, you're a pro.
Yes.
All right.
Pro in the ultimate hobby sort of way. I have to do, you know, I have a real job. I own a business, and the timber sports is just a hobby for me.
What's the name of your business?
Timberworks Tree and Stone out of Cherry Valley, New York. Okay. I'm going to do a lot of work in Cooperstown and Richfield Springs, Cherry Valley, surrounding areas.
Nice. All right, and your best event in competition, in pro competition, is?
The springboard chop. I was a national title last year, title holder. That was held in Sheffield, Pennsylvania at the Johnny Appleseed Festival. And it's, for me, one of the most demanding events, both technically and physically. And I'm proud to say that, you know, last year I was the national title.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. I don't think any of them look easy, by the way. All right, you're going to demonstrate for us, though, a pro caliber, what is this,
underhand chop.
All right, I'm going to run as far as I can.
You got it. Joe, you want to give me a 3, 2, 1,
Sure.
go?
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow. You know, and it was doubly difficult for you because we set this up on a rug, and people at home probably couldn't see, but this rug was floating all over the studio every time you swung the axe, which made me kind of frightened for your safety.
Well, it wasn't too bad. It threw me off a bit, and a little nervous coming off the bottom, so I stepped off. But
well, you know, you did it flawlessly. Are there superstars in this event? Sometimes we're unaware of how popular these events are. And of course, I mean, STIHL obviously uses you guys to say, hey, man, if a guy this good uses our equipment, think what you can do. Are there superstars in this event?
There are. And it's funny.
Joe's pointing to Nathan, by the way, if you couldn't see.
It's funny.
And we're talking with a national champion, so that seems deserved.
It's funny because the sport has really grown in Europe in the last probably 10 years because of STIHL. And there's guys over there that are like national heroes.
Really?
They go to the World Championships. There's a guy, Martin Komarak, from, I think, the Czech Republic or something. But the stands are full of people with signs and
Really?
like just cheering for him. And they're talking like 20,000 people at these events. And it's very, you know, it's nationally driven. Like, the guys are just big stars over there. And the same.
You ever heard suggested what kind of money he brings down? When he's a national hero?
I don't know. I wish I knew, because then maybe I could send some bills in places.
Could you just cover this one?
Just try and cover this? Yeah. No, but in Australia, New Zealand, the sport has been around for a long time as well. So there's a lot of big name guys down there that get, you know, one guy's written books and sold a lot of books and
so
TV
what
stars.
might first place prize money be? Just for us, you know, those of us who are unfamiliar with this, we don't know what we're dealing with.
I do competitions ranging from $30 to first place to $5,000 for first place. $5,000 chop first place is one of the biggest events in Australia. But to win the STIHL Timbersports series, you know, say a guy won every single event the whole way through, he could walk away with $20,000.
Wow.
That being said, I personally own about $30,000 worth of equipment dedicated to the sport. A lot of expenses in that, so that's why it's like an obsessive hobby, because it's so costly to travel and do all that.
By the way, you know, if we started chopping at the same time, I'd still be working on my log. Joseph, you guys are going to host a STIHL Timbersports series event?
Yes, we're going to have...
At SUNY Cobleskill, by
At
the way.
SUNY Cobleskill, yeah. We're going to have the Northeast Championship for all the collegiate teams, and at the same time, we're having a regional qualifier for the STIHL Timbersports Professional Series.
So when would people come out to see this? I think this would be a lot of fun to see.
We'll be starting on April 9th, or 29th, which is Friday, and we'll be working into Saturday, and the professional series starts on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock at the SUNY Cobleskill Fairgrounds.
Is there admission?
Yeah, there's $5 per person. Children 12 and under are free. $20 maximum per family.
And this will be, you may have said, both college and pro competitors?
Yeah.
You're going to be there, Bucket?
Yes.
Yep. He will be there.
See, a national champion. Let's see. How'd you become a competitor?
Well, I said before, I was like a 3-sport athlete in high school.
Yeah, what sports?
Football, wrestling, and track. And when I did my first year of school at a community college to get my general ed requirements, and then I went to SUNY Environmental Science and Forestry School. They have a satellite program in the Adirondacks called the Ranger School. And when I got there, aside from like a very demanding demanding educational program, 28 credit hours a semester, there was nothing else to do. And I really missed it. Like I missed competing, I missed all of that. And I had heard about other teams, other colleges doing these competitions, and I said, well, why can't we start a team? So me and another woman actually from the school put together a 6-person team. We went to one of the collegiate events, and since then I've been to like 6 different countries, competed in probably 400 events, and just dedicated a lot of my life to it.
Is this competition co-ed, by the way?
Yes.
Women compete also?
Yes.
So did you grow up doing this kind of thing? You said you grew up in the Alleghenies in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Yep. In Russell, Pennsylvania. I actually got started. I didn't know I have a very small amount of family history in it. I saw a picture after I started competing of my grandpa and grandmother crosscut sawing together. And I said to them, where was this? Oh, this was right in downtown Sheffield. They used to have an event. Long story short, my family and I have recreated the festival. And now it's been going for 5 years, and it's a big event. It's a 3-day event, and it's just a lot of fun. So I have that small amount of family history in it, but I've always had an interest in forestry related things because of my grandfather.
Did you have to, and I imagine like any competition, there are tips, there are certain things. When you get coaching, you learn how to do something like this, chopping a big piece of wood, better, more efficiently, faster.
Yeah.
Are there?
And that's why, like, when I had been competing for about 2 years, I went to Australia for 6 months, and I competed down there to learn, and that was my main objective. Down there, I got not only good coaching, but bad coaching. It's a very, very competitive sport, and certain guys are very aware that they have valuable knowledge. Some would give me good advice, some maybe not, and I had to sort through all that.
Deliberately.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a very,
funny.
It's a challenging
What can you tell? Like, what would a tip be? I don't want you to give away anything that's going to cost you a championship, but I mean, what's one of the first things, a pro would know that we don't?
The first thing I tell everyone that's doing it is to stop trying to hit it so hard, because it's really not about it. You do need strength to do it, but it's all about technique. And so many college kids, especially big, strong boys, farmers and whatnot, they come and they go to do an underhand chop, and they're squeezing the handle, and they're trying to hit it as hard as they can. And I can go up there and take a swing with one hand and make the axe sink further into the wood.
No kidding.
So I tell them it's all about technique, and once you learn technique, it's about applying the power that you have to that technique. So,
and if I'm chopping wood in my backyard, then do I want to loosen my grip somewhat? Or, like tennis? I know a lot of people,
yeah, it's all about momentum. You're working on the speed of the axe head and using your entire body to make the swing. It's a lot like golf. You can compare it to golf in a lot of ways, including the hip movement, keeping your arms relatively straight. It's not all coming from your biceps and triceps.
Interesting. All right, so again, when's the competition? Where is it? How can people find out more?
It's April 29th and 30th at Cobleskill, at the Cobleskill Fairgrounds. You can find out more about it at the STIHLTimbersports.us or the Facebook page for STIHL Timbersports. They should have everything you need to know about it.
All right, very good. Nathan Bucket Waterfield and Joe Lydon, both with SUNY Cobleskill. Thanks very much, both of you. And Nathan, good luck in competitions to come.
Hopefully we see you down there.
SUNY Cobleskill. I'd like to get down there. Thanks very much. Thank you for joining us on Forum 13. We'll be right back.